blood is how we got grace, right? We know that if it wasn't for him being sacrificed, we wouldn't still be living up under grace, would we?
That's right.
You wouldn't have that either. It took the ultimate sacrifice to come for us to have it. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact we don't deserve it.
Nope.
We don't deserve it. And then before Jesus came, they was having to make sacrifices. Apostle brought that out in the message Sunday, if you paid attention. They were having to make sacrifices. We don't have to go out and get no animals and make sacrifices no more.
Kill a bull, they said.
We don't have to do that no more. Now we go back and we ask for what?
Forgiveness.
But do we always go back and ask for it?
But do we apply it? Do we live in forgiveness?
Now
Do we walk in forgiveness? Say it again, Chris.
We water in it.
Well, you're right. We watered and we laid and they said we did it and we forgave them. But do we handle folk as though they have been forgiven?
No, we don't. No, we don't. We tend not to. Holy Spirit, you're welcome in this place. Have thine own way. Use our apostle on tonight. Give him what is needed for us on tonight. Give us what is needed that will bring life, deliver us, and will set the captives free. Deliver us from the bondage of ourselves in our minds and in our thoughts on tonight, oh God. We ask you that you use them with the anointing and the power that has been placed in it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Our service is now in the hands of our apostle.
Amen. We thank God tonight. We're grateful. I'm grateful tonight for another chance, another privilege. I thank God for each of you that have joined, for all of you that have joined, to every apostle in his or her respective place, to every bishop in his or her respective place, every pastor in his or her respective place, evangelists, prophets, prophetess, teachers, missionaries, believers, period. Thank God for you tonight, to Bishop Billingsley, to Pastor Garrett, to Pastor Redford, and to all of the pastors that are on that I saw, but I want to cover everybody, and I don't remember everybody's name because I saw you popping in. To all of our friends here in Georgia, and Louisiana, and California, Mississippi, and in the states abroad that follow us and that watch our broadcast for our Fire Feud Wednesday night Bible study. We welcome all of you tonight. To everyone that may be in your house, that are with you, that are watching, to all of you that may send it out and may share it, we bless God for you. We thank God for you. We're grateful because tomorrow night starts our fall revival. It's been a while since we had it, and like my brother Quentin Rufford just said, Bishop Rufford said, revival here. That's our time to come into God's house and be able to begin to exclaim to our God that we know that we have won, but we know that he is the victor and we live victoriously, and we have a chance to come and do some things. We got a chance to come in and, you know how to do the pep rally. We got spirit.
Yes, we do.
We got spirit.
How about you?
Y'all ain't said it like they said. We got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you? That's what the cheerleaders used to do back when I was in school, y'all. And when I played recreational ball, the cheerleaders would do the same thing. We got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you? I'm doing it being comical, but it's real, because when we get ready to come to our spiritual pep rally, there's some preparation. You know how y'all get together, y'all put on your favorite game clothes and sit out.
Come on.
Because God come up.
Yeah.
And because it smells the way he wanted to smell, he get up and stand up, and now he inhabits the praise of his people.
Yes, Lord.
And that's what revival is all about, and I like it, and that's what's getting ready to go on, and that's why we've been dealing with walking salvation, because God understood why and how man would be. But when he first gave the order and put the plan into action, man didn't know how to stay in his rightful place and walk the way God said walk. I'm paraphrasing. I want you to walk with me from the beginning all the way to the birth of Christ, and his living and his ministry, his death, his resurrection, his ascension, and all this way back. God knew it wasn't.
That's it.
It was required of man to stay in right relationship.
Come on.
Man couldn't do it, and we still can't do it, even though we live under grace. We take it for granted that it's all right.
And then we can do anything we want.
Now, said Kevin Hart, say, you right, we feel we can do anything in the world. Like said Kevin Hart, to say, all right. You gonna learn today.
Come on.
And why am I saying that? I'm saying it because I need to get your attention. I want your attention. And it ain't about just getting your attention, but your spiritual attention need to be got because, see, we made preparation.
Yes.
Y'all paint y'all face up for the week. We're getting ready to come down to football. Tomorrow start the first Thursday night football season on Fox Network. Everybody's favorite team that may be playing tomorrow night or the feature team that's going to be on tomorrow night, everybody going to be prepped and ready. Go get the stuff that you're going to have. Some of y'all going to have your favorite liquor, your favorite beer, your favorite wine. You're going to have your favorite food, your favorite dip, your favorite chip.
Yes.
Invite folk over. Play it on the football pool.
Come on.
Y'all talk to me now.
You better say.
What does that got to do with our lesson, walking in salvation? I'm going to show you that because I like what God allowed my brother to put out that our revival. That revival is for, that's our spiritual pep rally. That's our pep rally. Preparation going in now.
That's it.
Don't remember who playing tomorrow, but Fox 5 been hyping it up since football season. Got ready to come in, and when it came in, and during the preseason, and now it's Thursday night football. But this is the first regular season Thursday night football game on tomorrow.
Come on.
Sunday, everybody was hyping up because their favorite team was playing. Our team is 0-1 down in Dallas. The Saints are 0-1 and Falcons finally won a game and they was ecstatic and excited. And other folk mad and upset because their team didn't win. But can I tell you, we've been always on the winning team.
That's it. That's it.
Preacher, what you talking about? John, what you talking about tonight? I'm talking about the fact that when you look at this thing, walking in salvation, there are some things that has to be done. There's some preparation that goes into getting ready to get on the field and get ready to play the game. And see, we on the field constantly. So you got to slip into your spiritual dressing room while you're walking in your natural body so that you can re-prepare and get yourself ready to get in the game all the way.
Come on.
Need y'all to get it tonight. I mean, it ain't that you ain't getting it, but I need us to understand because in that preparatory state, there's some cleansing that got to take place, and because it was required of man by the law of God to stay in a right fellowship with God, man couldn't do it, and too many would have died.
That's it.
God made adjustments, and before he sent his son, the lamb slain before the foundation of the world, he sent everything that was needed, but yet we didn't want to hear.
That's it.
Now, some of y'all don't want to hear what your mama got to say.
Come on.
Don't hear what your daddy got to say.
Amen.
You don't hear what grandma got to say.
You better
Big
say
mama. Y'all don't listen to none. You don't listen to what the neighborhood mother say, the neighborhood father have to say. Y'all got to wait for that to take a village to raise one child.
That's it.
You don't want nobody telling you nothing about your child and giving you ain't in rearing your child. But when your child get in trouble, you want everybody to come to your rescue.
Walking on the toes.
Come on now, y'all.
Amen.
It ain't about walking on toes. It's about real talk. This is how you really go.
Amen.
I can't raise them the way I was raised because see in that day and time, I'm going to go to jail.
Come
Well,
on.
Go to jail.
there's a method and a means whereby they can be, but in the time in which we live now, because of advancements and changes in how laws now have been given and governed and enforced, there's a way to still do it without going overboard like it was done with us.
That's it.
See, y'all don't spoil your children because they don't do no wrong. They don't tell no lie. They don't get no trouble. They always right. The daughter's always wrong. They always picking on my child. Why is everybody always picking on me? Charlie Brown, he's a clown. Told you I want your attention tonight because as we walk in Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30, and Jesus began to teach, he begins his sermon on the mount, as it is often has said a while. He sat down and break down how the law was, what the law was all about, why God instituted the law, the purpose behind the law, and then there are those that think they're just so religious.
Come on.
They're so saved. You ain't ran into nobody like that, Christian?
Yes,
Lord.
Them so saved folk. So
Oh,
holy folk.
someone was on the motherboard.
Yeah, you got a lot of them on the motherboard. They dressed in their white, got their little chapel caps on their head,
Yeah.
got their gloves on their
And
hands.
some of them guard hats on too.
There ain't a garter hat. That's called a chapel cap.
Oh, that's.
Garters is what a lady put on when she holding her stockings up. Son, I need you to go back and check that quick, boy.
I said garden hat.
You said garter hats. I know that's what you said. I understand where you're coming from, but it's called chapel cap.
Okay.
There, the chaplain is covering over their head. symbolization to man as the head. But even in this day and time, women refuse to have a covering on their head because they can have a wig on their head and they say they wig their covering. They got a whole head of hair. Well, you know, Paul said your hair, first of all, he said is your glory. It's a part of your covering, but the covering on your head, submission, your subjection as the man, being the head and the leader. Come on, y'all. See, walking in salvation, you don't just do part of the playbook, you operate in all of the playbook. You see y'all favorite quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Y'all talk to me now. Right. Your favorite basketball player, point guard, forward, shooting guard. Y'all talk to me now.
That's it.
If they don't follow the play, the coach says, I don't care if they grown or not, he gonna bench it.
That's it.
Uh-oh, I hear you, Holy Ghost. God done benched a lot of us, and we don't even realize God done put us on the bench, and we had to run plays and done piled out already.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Here it is. You look at this thing, and it's going on, and God is moving, and God is working it. That's what some of them saying. They saying, don't put me in, coach. I don't want to go in. I ain't ready. Yeah, I got saved, but I ain't ready. I want to play around. So I played around, and when you play around, you might mess around and not be around.
Well, I got tackled into so.
Preacher, well, sometimes God got to sideline you for a reason so he can prepare you to put you where he really wants you to be so that you can clearly be about the business that he wants you to be about. Because sometimes we take the course that God has given us and we take our course and go off from what God said. We do that in the home. Do that in the church.
Yes.
Do that on the job.
Yes.
Do that within our relationships, one with another. Do that in our marriages. In our pre-engagement process of getting married. We get benched because instead of us making sure, and there's a lot of us that are guilty for it. A lot of us, I don't care if you're on this side of the world, on the other side. If you're in the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, western hemisphere, eastern hemisphere, I don't care if you're above the equator or below the equator. There are a lot of us that did not prepare ourselves as we should, but grace covered us.
Yes.
Because we engaged in things that we should have sustained in.
Yes.
God had mercy.
Yes, it is.
God kept us from dying. We should have died. A lot of things in this day, a lot of us should have died for. But grace and mercy. Come on, y'all. What does that have to do with walking in salvation and revival being our spiritual pep rally? Because that's where the saved come. Now, you're going to have a lot of unsaved folk. Can I tell you they ain't got but two type of folk on the face of the earth when it comes to salvation? Two type of sinners. A saved sinner saved by grace and an unsaved sinner that's waiting for coming in to grace. That's right. But sad part is, because you're right, they get a lot of prayers answered, but I want you to catch it because I want you to read Matthew 11 and 28 through 30 and Galatians 6 and 1 because I'm giving you a prelude to what the revival is going to be about. We're going to talk about restoration. We're going to talk about rebuilding. We're going to talk about rejuvenating. We're going to talk about some things that get you where you need to be. Restore, rejuvenate, and rebuild. Those are the three subtopics under restoration. To restore something means to bring it back to its original state.
Come on.
God through his son. Somebody gonna get it tonight. I feel the preaching in tonight.
Come on.
I know it could be Bible class, but I gotta flow the way it's gonna flow tonight. Because like the song said, flow to you, flow to you. Let the rivers up. So tonight, when you look at it, and we talk about restoration. She asked y'all in the beginning, what's one of the ministries that God gave us? The ministry of reconciliation. Being reconciled, being brought back in right relationship, in what it called as though nothing never happened.
Yes, Lord.
Here's the sad part about us of being saved. We don't know how to really reconcile as we should, because what we call reconciliation, we still hold things over folk and against folk and to folk and wonder why we still powerless with folk.
Come on.
I'm going to sip my coffee. Because tonight, brothers and sisters, as we're walking in salvation, there's a whole lot of taking off and putting on. And I understand that, in this hour that we in, and Israel have already begun to celebrate Yom Kippur. You know, they're already preparing for the Day of Atonement. They're already preparing to be reconciled to God. They're already preparing to come back. They've begun it and they celebrate it often because that was required by the law.
Come on.
See, our time of Yom Kippur happens all the time, not just once a year, according to the Jewish calendar. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. But if we're preparing and making sure that we're back in atonement, meaning in one with God, and making sure we're restored back to accurate fellowship, and active fellowship. Notice what I said, accurate and active.
You better say it.
In the
Come on.
Baptist church, they say when you come back and I want to beg the church pardon,
That's it.
y'all know how it used to be.
Yes,
The
Lord.
doors of the church are open and they extend their invitation for discipleship and folk that ain't been to church in 30 years. Folk that had left God a long time ago.
Come on.
Say they want to be saved again. Well, first of all, if God had not rejected you totally because you totally rejected him in apostasy, basically what you did was slid back.
Uh-huh.
Songwriter said, Big Pun, one of them said, lean back,
Uh-huh.
rock away. That was some of y'all did, rock away from Jesus while y'all showed up at his house, but your heart was nowhere near.
That's it.
So we look at this thing, and God made sure the stage was set, and it was man's responsibility passed down by word of mouth from Adam all the way down to the time that Noah came. And after Noah, then the written word was getting ready to come into place because man act like he was lax of mind.
Come on.
Y'all know how you say one thing to one person, pass it on to 3 or 4, by the time to come back to the one that said, say it again.
It done changed up. It
God.
done close up.
Never changed.
That's it.
Huh?
Mhm.
He still want fellowship with us.
Yes, it do.
And I'm bothered in my spirit when folk try to say God no longer literally talks to us no more. That's a lie.
Come on.
Because how can he be the God that he is and supposed to be my father
Come on.
and he gonna be absent and never say nothing to me at all? Supposed to be a mother for the motherless, a friend for the friendless, a friend that stick closer to the God. And you mean to tell me
Yes, it do.
you walk around, take what somebody have indoctrinated or taught you according to what they believe?
Uh-huh.
Come on, y'all need y'all to
That's
get it.
it.
So look at this thing, and we're talking about, being restored and restoration. A lot of folk like to take old antiques and restore them to their original form. That's what God had been doing when Adam had messed up because he didn't stand up, because he didn't set his house back in order. He didn't restore the order that God had given in his house. He didn't correct what was going on. God came and corrected it for him and restored him back to the fellowship, but he still had a long way to go because he lost his eternal living.
Yes.
So look at this thing tonight. What do you mean? He was in eternity, stepped out of eternity, and stepped into time and started dying.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell y'all, because it's incumbent upon us to walk as God called us to walk. Now, let me help you understand. For those of you that still say you can't live by everything in that Bible. Well, technically you can. The only way you can is if you don't make the application.
That's it.
That's just like saying that I can't eat, but you got to find something to fix it to eat all over again.
That's it.
Y'all talk to me.
Yes.
Boy, you walking heavy.
I need us to get it tonight because when we talk about this thing and get ready to prepare for revival on tomorrow, and I pray that God is continuing to cover my son and cover my little son that's riding along with him to come down yonder's highway down from Louisiana up to Georgia and crossing over a couple of states to get here, that God protect them because we want to give God everything we can.
Yes, Lord.
Step by step.
God restored them. That's right, Christian, step by step, because in restoration, there are certain steps that you got to take because things are fragile. Some things need a little extra attention than others. And that's what we got to recognize, that God takes tender loving care. TLC,
Yes.
tender loving care.
Yes.
Y'all love Michael Jackson. I like Michael as well, but Michael dead, he ain't my God. I don't care if he's the king of pop, but he ain't my king.
That's it.
Well,
And I love him well.
it's just a title.
I love my mama, but my mama ain't my God neither. God got arrested.
Yes, Lord.
Come on, y'all.
Oh,
Yes.
What does that have to do with walking in salvation and the preparation for revival? Because when you look at restoration, first of all, you got to find a thing that has been ragged. It has been done wrong. It's been setting up for a long time. It had no active use. It been rusted or started decaying. And it don't look like it's worth anything at all. When God looked at man, everything in the world looked as though it was not worthwhile. Satan Lucifer said, they ain't no good.
Yes, it is.
You remember you kicked me out of heaven and you said that was the crown of your creation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Crown of your creation information just keep you in your derriere. They did the opposite of what you said.
That's it.
So much so, he said, I couldn't get them by laying down with a whole bunch of women that wasn't their wives and a whole bunch of men that wasn't their husband. I'm going to go on and I'm going to fix it so the way you created them, I'm going to make them lay down with their hair. And when he saw that didn't work, God said, I still love them. They did all kinds of sins, murders. Come on, y'all.
Yes, it is.
Same thing going on today. Broke every law that was there. They were lawless. Why Paul told Timothy when he looked at when he wrote it to his son in his second chapter of his first letter that he wrote to his son, he said that the word of the law was not for the lawless.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry, y'all didn't catch that.
Yes.
The law wasn't for those that kept it. The law was for those that didn't. And then some of y'all still want to hold on to the passages of the law and you want to live by the law while living under grace. You want to hold on to two things at the same time. That's like holding on to your ex-wife while you're married to your present wife, holding on to your ex-boyfriend while you're dating your new boyfriend. You don't think that's going to be some problems?
That's going to be some problems. That's going to be some potential.
I need y'all to get it. I'm going to use this simply plain because in this 11th chapter, as Jesus began to deal with them and he began to talk to the 12 and they began to look at things that are going around and how John had been in prison and they were trying to find out if Jesus was who he was supposed to be, the one that was supposed to come after him, that was preferred before him, that even his shoes he wasn't worthy to bend down another latch. Y'all talk to me.
Come on.
You walking in there?
That's the book, right?
That's the book.
Because as he began to deal with the Sermon on the Mount, he began to tell them, look at here, y'all beating these folks up, y'all tearing folk down, y'all making folk feel less than what they are. They came into Christ and recognized that their flesh overrode what the Spirit said because they understood there's a struggle going on. Two natures warring at the same time. The Spirit want to give God some showed up, bona fide, glorified praise as he deserves, but the flesh want to enjoy itself. Got too many things going on. No different than my daughter. Everything around her is more important than the things that's in front of her. Lose focus so fast they got to play with everything and find themselves not having nothing at all.
Come on.
And for y'all think that I'm beating up, I'm just giving you an example because that's simple because that was the word given directly to her. So I want you to catch it tonight. When you look at this thing and you talking about walking in salvation, it's a daily walk.
Yes.
Just the closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus, if you please. My wife went to a whole other part and ain't even the song, ain't how it go. And I'm not trying to sing it exactly how it goes, but I want you to see that daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. See, y'all won't be satisfied with a whole lot of stuff. Tell me, I'll be satisfied as long as you what?
Long suffering.
Well, God is a long-suffering God, but how long will God suffer when you decide to do your own thing? Because then, let me bring you back up to Romans out of 1 Timothy chapter 2, where he said the law was not meant for a man that was living lawful or a woman living lawful, but for those that what? You know them folk that know how to live lawful unto God, when it's time to go to the house of God, when it's time to do the things of God, when it's time to participate in what God called them into, when it's time to show off their gift because they want everybody to know how profound they are, how prolific they are, how well and authoritative they are, how good they can dissertate what it is they say, how well they can break it down, how theological sound they are, how theologically correct they are, how systematically they can now put the theology where it is and how divine that it is and how spiritually caught up they are. Come on, y'all.
Yes.
We walk on all our toes tonight, and God don't care what the color of your skin is, but we so caught up by the pigmentation of what the skin is that we fail to realize that we all was dark, dirty, and no good.
Come on.
No wonder what.
But Jesus said, look at here. Did we create man in our image and our likeness? And in all of the dirt and the darkness that we have, and as God began to comb through and the Spirit began to search through, he can finally see a little bit of himself. He can yearn every now and then.
Come on.
So when you look at what happened here, and they begin to deal with it, they talk about it, see what's going on, and yet they still didn't believe it, and yet Jesus fulfilled everything in their faith. But in the 5th chapter, as he began to sit down, and he brought the little children under him, and they were pushing him away. Can I tell you, the little children at that time represented what we would be considered as newborn babes in Christ.
Come on.
Suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not. Hey, they just got saved. Hey, they just found the Lord. Don't push them away because you feel they can't pray like you, sing like you, preach like you, dance like you, play comedy like. Don't push them away.
Well,
Suffer them. In other words, allow them. Give them a little bit more time to gain the ground that you have, and you guide them along the way. Come on, y'all. See, I told you tomorrow going to be about restoration. See, we don't want to hear messages that now put us in a place to where we got to rub some stuff off, sand some stuff down, cut some stuff away, add some new things. We got to refortify. We got to make sure we got to make sure we go to parts that originally. See, you don't want to go searching and looking for nothing.
Come on.
I've been searching for a long time. I knew there was something that I had to find. Y'all should have seen me wringing my hands and crying. All because I didn't have peace of mind. But it was then. Does anybody do this before? Oh, that I kneeled down to pray. And I said, Lord, show me the way. Come on, y'all. Answer tonight. I told you I feel pretty good tonight. I told you I felt a preaching me tonight. Because while we're getting this established, this is how we should be every day. Get an old car. Get an old quilt. Find a raggedy, broken down house and then go gut everything out. May even take the existing roof off the check and make sure that the rafters are still good. Come on, y'all.
Yes.
Make sure that the support beams are strong enough unless they have to reinforce them. See, that's what God did from the beginning when he saw that man had slipped away. He was the one that made sure he brought man back with him, but he established his law.
Come on.
Yep.
Gave us the prophets. Word of mouth passed down. Y'all know how y'all water it down?
Yeah.
That ain't quite how mama said it. That ain't the way daddy said it. Yeah, mama said it that way, but see, here's what she really meant. She left me in charge. Come on, y'all.
Yes.
When you look at this 11th chapter, and you talk about restoration as being the main topic, and you talk about restore, rejuvenate, and rebuild, before you can get to all of that, you got to first look at it.
Yes.
You got to look it over. You got to inspect it. The Spirit of God inspect us every day,
Yes.
throughout the day. Speak to us throughout the day, giving us guidance and leadership, putting us in position of where and who it is that we may need to or have to talk to us. Y'all talk to me now.
Well,
Yes.
Y'all don't believe it because if he left here, and as Paul said in the book of Ephesians, he went down, came up, and when he went, he led captivity. Come on, y'all. Captive. In other words, he took them out what was holding him in and brought them into something that was captive, that they enjoyed it. Some of y'all are captivated by somebody's attention right now.
go, Pastor.
But it is the attention of God.
Well,
So when we look at this thing and look at where he finally get in these last 3 verses of this 11th chapter, and look at the first verse of what Paul said to the church down at Galatia. Notice you got Romans. Then you got what?
Romans, 1 Corinthians, right?
That's right. Then what else?
2 Corinthians.
Then what follows 2 Corinthians?
Is it Galatians?
That's right. Notice how he put it together, because in Romans it gives you all of what is needed as a Christian, as the handbook of how you ought to walk and how you ought to live. Then in 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians, it tells the church now how to act, because it answers the questions of what is going on in the daily affairs of the Bible.
Yes.
Y'all talk to me now.
Yep.
Y'all do that when you go to school, right?
Yes.
School.
Cool.
As the old folks say, cool. School. And in that instructional phase, they see where you are. They examine it.
Yes.
They begin to peer into what it is you may have an understanding in already, what you have knowledge in, and how do you really apply it, and how are you applying it in the right and proper manner, right? And each level that you go up with is just an advancement of what you started off with. Suffer the little children to come unto me, forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. Brought them unto him, and he blessed them.
Yes.
Yet you still got folk mumbling.
Yes.
Wondering why the new babes in Christ seem to have more power than you. They're more willing and they're more pure to receive God and follow God.
That's it.
You done got mature, you think, and you don't feel you have to do it quite that way all over again.
That's it.
No different than a child with his parents, the same thing that they felt, got them what they needed, got them what they wanted, got them their way. They still do it in the same similar fashion.
Yes.
Some of you grown folk that still have your mother and father, your father and mother still alive, y'all still playing the same childhood game.
Uh-huh.
Y'all talk to me.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything in walking in salvation? Well, when you're walking in your salvation, you don't have to prove to nobody that you're saved.
That's it.
Your mannerism gonna show. They're gonna mock you just like they did the church at Antioch.
Yes.
Because they were called Christians first at Antioch, because they carried not only the look, the aroma, the smell, but everything about them. They saw Jesus and not the folk of Antioch. Evangelist just asked, how does our walk every day? What is it really, representing? What is it really showing? What has it really initiated? Have we really begin to restore in some areas, because we let anger overtake us? We allow ourselves to become bitter. We allow ourselves to wallow in a whole lot of things. We were overtaken in sins, and we were pulled back in by the lust of our eyes, the lust of our flesh, and the pride of our life, and we started enjoying them again. Y'all talk to me now. We overindulge that. I'm going to use what she said to our daughter earlier. Who is controlling what? Is it about those around you that you're trying to satisfy? Or is it God in yourself that needs some satisfaction?
You know, that is a shame.
The songwriter said, and for those of you that are faint of heart, because Paul said to me to feed my brother, I want to eat meat. And for those of you that have not graduated to the level of understanding how to incorporate things that happen around you, Jesus said, you're in the world, but not of the world. You can't get away from the daily things that happen unless you live in a shell and you dead waiting on him to come back.
That's it.
Or you know already took you to heaven.
You know, in.
I need y'all to get it. Say that again, Chris.
So you just walk in. You're not in the world.
He said you're in the world, but not of it. In other words, you no longer participate in the things of the world.
That's it.
Then some of us become so holy that we forget how to live because we so busy trying not to participate, while indirectly we've already taken part in it.
That's it.
Then some of us feel that just because we didn't answer back to what was being said and we didn't actually get involved to what was being done, but we were guilty by association. Y'all talk to me. I know I ain't by myself on that.
I ain't gonna say he tell no lies.
Then we feel just because we live under grace, all I got to do is run to God and say, Lord, have mercy. That's why Paul said, what shall we say then to these things? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Should we continue to play around with fire and think that because we hadn't got burnt in 30 years, that 30 years later on the 31st year, you don't think you're going to get burned? Y'all talk to me.
I got cringing legs.
So in this here, you look at what he did, and he tried to get them to see, and he wanted all of these educated folk to understand that he was glad that God revealed it to folk that was not trying to be more than what they should be, higher than what they ought to have been, more saved than somebody else, and their salvation was greater, and their gift was more powerful, and their anointing was more greater than somebody else. But it was folk that was void of understanding. In other words, they wasn't seeking the reputation of their own. So look at this thing tonight. And I'm getting ready to go home because I just wanted to really touch on it a little bit tonight, because see, when we walk in, it's a steady walk. There will be some stumbling blocks that's going to come. There will be some roadblocks that will be put up. There will be some detours that be presented to us. But if we believe that God said all things work together for good for them that love the Lord and that are called according to his purpose, those that he had called, he already justified. One little sister gave me a message and it was talking about those that God have already called. He qualified. He ain't got to qualify none that say they've been called.
That's it.
So when we look at this thing and talking about walking in salvation, I ain't got to prove nothing to you. I know who I am in Christ, and Christ know who he is in me.
That's it.
Well,
That's why Paul said again in his writing to his son Timothy when he penned down his second letter before going to Nero's chopping block, he wanted him to understand. He said, listen, I need you to catch some things and I need you to get it real good. First of all, you can do all the exercise and make this outside body look as good as you want. You can exercise your mind as much as you want, gain all the knowledge in the world. But if you're not really exercising it according to living wholesome or allowing your spiritual man to gain as much more strength as your physical man.
Come on.
Talk to me, son.
what's the difference between wholesome and holiness? Computer.
The same thing, son. There's quality of living. There's less margin and room for error. Wholesome living means you're doing everything you can to be good with the understanding there's a possibility and there is a door that can be opened because, see, you're a saved sinner, saved by grace. And as long as you live in this sinful flesh, while you're living unto God by his spirit, let me put it to you like this here. Your body is moving along while your spirit is living under God. And while your spirit should be living under God, your body should be moving in the same direction. But see, what happened is our body go one way and our spirit man go another. We figure that, it's mind over matter. As long as I'm right in the eyesight of God in my mind, I can play with my flesh how I want. Till the flesh gets sick, now you want God to heal your flesh.
That's why we're supposed to seek him in everything that we do.
There you go. Look what Paul told Timothy. He said, look, bodily exercise profitable little, but spiritual exercise is profitable of the life that now is and the life that now to come. In other words, God will sustain you while you're going through now. You will have some suffering, because he said, I need you to understand that the present suffering of this present time cannot be compared to the glory that shall be revealed. He said that in the church at Rome because he said, look, I know right now in this first century church, a lot of y'all going to die for the sake of Christ. But there are going to be centuries come where they won't have as much suffering, but yet in third world countries, those that believe in Christ are being killed every day.
Yes.
Those that convert to Jesus Christ have been beheaded because of their walk in God. We live in a world where we're afraid that somebody going to prison us or not like the fact that we live under God. Y'all talk to me now.
Amen.
See, Jesus didn't go around exclaiming himself, but others exclaimed himself. Jesus didn't go around portraying how good he was. He tried to keep it hidden because it was for everybody else to tell how good he is.
That's it.
How good God is.
Yes. Yes.
Ourselves in restoring ourselves into active and fellowship with God, we begin to now detest or not like, not enjoy. It should upset us. It should make us sick. If somebody that is not quite living as God said are choosing to fake the funk in front of us because they have transformed themselves into a being that is not of God, but know how to portray the things of God and as a child of God, and we partake of it, can I tell you, going to make you naturally sick while it upset your spirit, man? So what does that have to do with Matthew 11 and 28? Well, those three verses, Jesus gave the great invitation, the same invitation that had been given for years for man to come back to God. Jesus was simply saying, look, I'm the doorway. John, he said in John chapter 10, he said he was the good shepherd.
Yes.
He said he was the door back to God.
Yes, he did.
Said there was a whole lot that came before with thieves and robbers. They got thieves and robbers in God out now.
Come on.
He said, look, because God and my Father gave this to me, and I know the Father. Nobody knows the Father save the Son, and nobody knows the Son save the Father. And those who choose to reveal it unto, and those that were willing to receive him is whom he revealed it to. For you get so profound in giving your rendition of how it is, he gave it to those that was willing to accept the fact, okay, this is what it was. This is how it is. This is how it's to be lived. So now I'm ready to walk the way you say walk. Well, let me go here. Let me use another natural example that I often use. A woman ain't going to give her heart to a man unless she know the man is ready to receive her heart. And if she don't feel that he's ready to receive it, just as a man giving his heart to a woman, there are certain things that are shut off and closed, and they'll never know nothing about. Y'all talk to me. God reveals it to you as you're willing to accept it and not just willing to give it so you can get what you want.
That's it.
Y'all talk to me. Y'all help me.
Yes.
I'm confident that the Holy Ghost breaking it down tonight. It ain't got nothing to do with John. I'm just a vessel. Just like my little black cup got the coffee in it that's holding what it need I need to ingest. in order for us to really be ingested and for God to ingest us and pour out of us, we got to be a willing vessel that's willing to allow him to come in. But the residue of what we've been doing in our former life, because our practices have to now line up with our position, because our position said that he saved me from an eternal death,
Yeah.
an eternal separation.
Come on.
Because of that, I confess with my mouth and I believed in my heart that Jesus Christ died and rose again, and God seated him at the right hand of the Father. I believe that he was an actual, factual person, but God in the person himself. Well, the word tells us and teaches us, if you really believe what the word can say, he said he found himself a low reputation, and he didn't find himself to be against God, to be in the form of man, to be God at the same time.
Come on.
That's what Paul said to the church of Rome, right? So Paul told Timothy, he said, look, Timothy, you're going to have some folk that's going to come and, a good soldier, he don't entangle himself. See, walking in salvation, you will not allow yourself to get caught up with the riff and the raft and the jump that's going on and be pulled back in because you desire to be there. You miss how it was. That's why Jesus said in the Gospel of Luke said, chapter 9, verse 52, verse 62, my son's favorite verse, his first sermon when he was 8 years old and he broke it down. You can't put your hand to the plow and look back.
That's it.
Let me help you understand. He didn't say that you couldn't look back at all, but you're looking back with the desire to go back and do the same thing again.
Well,
So when we talk about restoration, look at what he did and how he began the restoration process. And where it was incumbent, where it was man's responsibility, he took that out because the Lamb said, look, I'm going to go. I got you. They ain't getting it right. They ain't hearing the prophet. They ain't hear Moses. They ain't hear Joshua. They ain't hear Enoch. They ain't hear Noah. Oh, Noah can't tell them because he got drunk all over again. See, y'all figure because a man been out there in the world and he was a drug addict, or he might have been a homosexual, but God delivered him from the homosexual spirit that brought him in to go after mankind, because the word tells us. See, y'all get tested when we talk about the truth, but walking in salvation means we got to pull off some things.
That's it.
See, some of us want to wear the same garment while we wear a garment of truth.
You old, my God. Come on.
No, I know I played with him for 10 years in the beginning of the ministry. 30 years later, I'm still trying to pull off some stuff that's still tugging on.
Come on.
Walking in salvation, recognize that there's always a tug of war going on.
Yes.
Every now and then, the flesh, it seemed like it won, but it didn't, because what the Spirit did, God gave you over to your vile affections and allowed you to play in it for a little while. Y'all talk to me.
Yes.
taking one step, but you get knocked two back.
Well, sometimes it's more than two that's being knocked back, because if you really look at the Christian, it's no different than a parent letting the child think that he got away with something, and then now all at one time you got to pay the piper. Peter Piper picked the piper.
Restoration.
Did y'all catch that? That's what we doing. Oh yeah, my mama said it too. My mama was just like that, like the comedian say, I'll whip you when I want her, when I want her, when I want her. Every word my mama said, she had. Well, remember I told you, remember last week, did not tell. Now let me help you understand when I said it to you. Here's what I had on. That's what my mama did.
Yeah, he said he was gonna beat me till I turned blue.
Well, my mama promised me one day, Christian, and this go along with the lesson. My mama said, boy, if you don't stop acting up before you walk out this door to go catch the bus, I'm going to whip you, and you ain't going to be able to sit down all day, and I ain't going to leave a mark on you. And my mama whipped my behind with a platted extension cord. And I guarantee you, I couldn't sit down all day. My teachers tried to put a pellet in the chest. Pellet didn't work. Soft as all outdoors. But my behind was sore. And she said it's going to be sore like that for a couple of days. 3 days later, when it started healing up. Every now and then, God got to put us in a position that he allowed the enemy to come and whip us. As many as I love, he said, I chasten and rebuke. Therefore, be zealous, be quick to want to be excited about trying to repent. In other words, turn around. Feel sorry that you messed up with God.
Come on.
You know, some of the children feel pitiful, like they can just be pitiful to mama, but they're really not sorry that they know how to play the game.
Yes,
Believers do the same thing. We play with God like we play with our parents.
That's it.
Make them think we sorry for what we did, how long we did it, how well we did it, knowing we did it. As soon as we say I'm sorry, you're
Right back at it. Yes.
See, repentance means to be turned around, feel godly sorrow, do a 180.
Come on.
Do everything you can that when you turn around not to allow your desire. That's why when you talk about restoration, you got to clean out the residue. Because if you don't get out all of the old wood, you don't get out all of the old metal, whatever it is you're trying to restore, you got your favorite cup and you know you can't send it back into the fire because it was a cup made by pottery, but you learn how to fix it and mesh it back together. Well, that's all Jeremiah talked about when God said, Jeremiah, I need you to go down to the potter's house. See, walking in salvation means repeating yourself at the house of the potter and allowing the potter to rework you on the wheel. The potter wants to put you back together again. Oh,